Welcome to A Basic Look, the show where we look at Dungeons and Dragons from a simple perspective. I'm your host, Wally. Today's D&D topic will be the Druid class. We will look at how they are described in the player's handbook, what the basic abilities are of a Druid at second level, what a Druidic circle is, and how to choose your Druidic circle. We look at second level because that is before too many abilities are in play. If there's too many abilities, this won't be a simple look anymore. The Druid is an interesting class. This is because they're a spellcasting class that can easily be a support or damage class and still tank more damage than some of the melee classes. The Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook has a short breakdown of the Druid, and it says, they are a priest of the old faith, wielding the powers of nature, moonlight, plant growth, fire, lightning, and even animal forms. So in D&D, Druids are known for two main things: turning into animals and their versatility. According to D&D Beyond, it is wisest to stick your highest stats as wisdom and then constitution. Wisdom will increase your power of your spells, will make them harder to resist, and will make them have more damage. The constitution stat is going to increase your base health level at first level. And then there are certain spells you will need to keep up with concentration, even if you get damaged. And this is where Constitution comes into play. It will help you keep those spells running. At second level, a Druid gets 3 main abilities, and they also have to make a difficult choice for some people. The first ability is really simple. It's Druidic. In other words, Druids have their own language that they write and speak, and nobody else can write it or speak it. No one. Their next ability is also simple. Spellcasting. You get to cast spells, including spells that are unique to the Druid. The third ability gets complicated. It's Wild Shape. This is what lets a Druid turn into an animal. Now, at second level, you get to do this twice per short rest. There's also some other restrictions. That being, you cannot, at second level, turn into an animal that can fly or an animal that has a swimming speed. Now, swimming speed is what a fish or amphibian would have. It means they have a faster speed in water than, say, your human or dwarf or elf. Also, know that in Wild Shape, when you're in your animal form, you're not going to be able to speak to your comrades unless they have the spell Speak with Animals, or the creature you turn into has a language they can understand. So if you're trying to relay something to them, you may have to drop your form, which is one of 2 times you can do so per short rest. Choose wisely. Another thing is, when you turn into an animal, you take on that animal's health pool. So when you're damaged and you go below that health pool, there's still no need to panic, because all you do is you revert back to your original form. Say you're an elf who turned into a cat. When your cat health goes away, you turn back into your elf. And if there's any leftover damage, that goes into your elf's health pool and you take that away. But with this ability, that shows you why a druid can be so tanky. They can be an animal with lots of hit points and add hit points onto theirs and have the animal's attacks. It's an interesting way to play, and it can be difficult to play. The next thing is druids are going to have to make a choice at second level, and this is where it gets really complicated, and that is choosing your druidic circle. What is a druidic circle? Well, it's deciding what type of druid you are. Are you a land druid that's into trees? Are you a druid that's into mushrooms? Are you a druid that's into the moon? And it depends what kind of, I guess, old magic you worship and use. And you can choose your circle for about 2 different reasons, and that varies on your player, what kind of player you are, and things like that. If you're concerned about role play, and you know where your druid came from, what's his backstory, what kind of magic or god he worships, that's going to be choosing a circle based on the flavor of the circle, not the abilities of the circle. Because the other option is to choose your circle based on what abilities it offers. And this is simply looking and reading and being like, oh, I want to be able to do this. This druidic circle has a different ability than all the others, which they all do. They have different abilities. And you can choose that. That's the second path you can choose. I'm not going to judge. Max out your character. Make them the most powerful you can. Or just play them how your character would be, who they would be. It's your choice. That's the point of the game. Now, that's just what it comes down to with the druid. All in all, the druid just has so many options. You can play them purely for the mechanics. You can play them for the role play. They have tons of options for both. And that's just what this is about. That's what this whole game's about, choosing. And that leads me to, like, let me know, say, in the comments, just what kind of druid do you like to play? What do you like to play as? What do you wish druids had? DMs, do you think the druid's too powerful? Until next time, we're going to look at the fighter. Our next video is going to be over the fighter. Now, he's a lot simpler, not basic, simpler than the druid. Some people have accused the fighter of being boring. But again, that depends on you. How do you play the fighter? How good of a background did you make for him? Did you make a background? How good are you at instantaneous thinking up something on the fly? It all depends on you, whether somebody is boring or not. You can make a boring druid. You really can. But it all depends on you if you want to make them exciting or not. However, we're done on the druid today. So, until next time, why don't you at least like the video? Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you want me to cover. And subscribe. There's a lot more content on here from other people who know a lot more about a lot of different topics. From photography to trains to traveling, just like where there is to visit. And then there's even somebody who's doing a series on winners of the world, which is kind of interesting to think about. There's also somebody doing movies that are, I'm not going to say cult classics, but they are unique movies most people don't think about. So until then, who will you be?